Okay, we were coming back at you, K&J, What 5HT channel, part two, and we're gonna pick back up where we left off from. We was talking earlier. We was coming in on the remark that Ali made about the promises that was being made that wasn't kept. Um, man, that can go on forever. The question is, what do we do about it? So what I, ask you to do, like I said, we welcome you back. We want you to comment. You know, comment. Yeah, we want you to subscribe, like, push that notification button. We're gonna go back in, dealing with this generational gap thing, man. We was dealing with Ali. He went back from his grandfather to his father to himself, even to his kids, and the promises that was made. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this a black and white thing. We're just trying to come together and trying to get some answers what we can do to make this better for us, especially in our community. What can we do to make this better? I was just thinking on some of the reasons or reasonings how we got to where we are. A lot of people talk about the single parenthood. If I can just share a little bit about me, my mom was a single mom, but I say she did a great job. She did a great job. I had a few positive role models in my life. I had a couple male figures that I confide in that whenever I was going through. But for the bigger part, my mom did the job to make me the person that I am. Did I make mistakes? Yeah, I made some mistakes. I did some things that was contrary to what she taught me, and that's why I can relate to my millennials and my Gen Z. I can relate. We don't get it right every time, but the thing about it is when we know we can do better, then that's what we want to find ourselves doing. We want to find ourselves doing better. I don't always want to push scripture on you, but it speaks on the parent training the child in the way they should go, and if they should depart, which is saying they more than likely will depart, but at least they will have something that they can come back to. Also, ask the parents not to provoke their children to anger, and it tells the children to obey the parents. So where we are now, man, that's something else. I was talking with Kay, and she made a good point, and she was speaking on like, man, this generation we're in now, it's like you don't want to do away with your mom or your parents or your father, whichever, however your household is being run. You don't want to do away with them because they take your cell phone. That's a bit extreme. Or then again, you don't want to slap your teacher because she said you can't play video games in the classroom. It just all makes sense. We're talking about what makes sense now. So I just said that to say, some of the mistakes that I made, I can speak of when just leaving Detroit, how I had to part from people in my life that really meant something to me, but they probably wouldn't think that they meant something because the decision I made from leaving Memphis to go to Detroit, I left behind 2 young men. And one thing I can say, which doesn't always happen this way, statistics was not against them, because typically when the male is out of the home, then those boys kind of run rapid. But I can say with those 2 young men, they turned out to be pretty good young men, pretty successful. The Most High watched over them, and that I'm thankful for. And I wish that I could take it back or go back and make it better. I know a guy told me one thing. You know how we always say, here go another cliche. Let's stick with this one. A guy, I was talking with him. He made good sense. He said, we always say, man, money is time. Money is time. He said, no, you think about that. You can't compare the two. He said, because if you lose money, you can get it back. But that time, you can't get that back. And I was like, wow. See, that registered with me. It made a lot of sense. So those are things I can take into my life. Get away from all the cliches. Because we love cliches. We run with cliches like wow. And sometimes we say things we don't even understand what we're saying. But money is time. Okay, you can say that if you want. But I agree with what was told. The money, if you lose it, you can get it back. The time, you can't get that back. So let's deal with that. That's what I say. That's one of the things we deal with in this WHAT acronym, which is World Health, Academia, and Time. That time you cannot get back. So let's value that time. Let's value what we have. I was on my way. I'm just ranting right now, but I just want to share a little bit about me. I could have been a military guy. You know, I made my mind up after going through certain changes in my life. I wanted to go to the military. Most of the men in my family did. They were military. My father, my uncles, a couple of cousins, they were military guys. So I decided I was going to go to the military. I took the test. I did well. I was on my way to the Navy. Scored pretty high. My recruiter said, listen here, man. He said, everything is going good for you. You're going in as with ranking, E5, you know? You're going to do well. I'm just going to ask you to do one thing for me. He said, stay out of trouble. Let me tell you something. I was scheduled to leave in 2 weeks. Guess what happened within those 2 weeks? Trouble. I got in trouble, did something that haunted me, that wouldn't allow me to be inducted into the military. Maybe that was something that was supposed to happen. And people like to say, well, that was your fate. That's where it's supposed to happen. Okay, let's just say that. But had not I made that decision, it could have been something different. But I did, so I had to roll with the cards that I played. I was dealt a hand. I played the cards. They didn't work in my favor as far as the military is concerned. So from there, you know, my life was kind of all over the place. I ended up going to Detroit, da-da-dee, you know, and that's what happened. A lot of times we blame it on the single-parent home. That's what we want to do. That has a lot of validity to it. It does. I mean, it could happen that way. I think a home with both parents is a very strong home. That's if the father is involved in that home as well. So a lot of things happen. Like I say, even in the times of the Millennials and Gen Z, you know, we had this biological warfare raged on the community. What I call biological warfare that was raged in the community. They dropped this drug in the community that really, it devastated the entire community. And that drug was crack. I mean, like, it was like an epidemic. It was terrible. And I was going to Detroit when it was right at its peak. And the reason I wasn't a victim to that, because my uncle, rest his soul, we just laid him to rest. But as soon as I touched down in Detroit, he took me to a place. He said, I want to show you something. He took me there, and I tell you, we went in this dark place. It was this neighborhood, and it seemed like the street light was out. They were out, and people were walking around, and they all looked like zombies. And I asked my uncle, I said, what's going on? What is it? He said, man, they on that stuff. I said, what stuff? What is it, man? He said, that crack. He said, got them. He said, look at them. They look like walking zombies, don't they? I said, yeah. I said, let's get out of this place, man. Let's get out of here. And even in Detroit, when I got there, I wasn't even there maybe a good 2, maybe 3 months. I witnessed my first shooting. I don't know whether the young man died or not. All I know is I saw him get shot. And my cousin, I rode around. We jumped in the car and we rode off, and we made a block because we wanted to see what was happening. And we made the block and came back, and the guy was coming up to the car, and he was like, as if he was asking for help. And in fear, man, I was like, no, man, let's go. We can't do it. And we left that man. I don't know what became of him. But I'm praying and hoping that he turned out all right, but I'll never know. Anyway, I'm saying that to say the single-parent home is another thing we have to deal with. all these promises that was made, like Ali was speaking on, it was going to get better here, and it's going to get better here, and it's going to get better here, and we never saw it. Although we marched and we did all these other things, and we made some advancements by getting certain rights that people benefit off of. People today, you see them protesting, like I say, they protesting with flags from their country, but they here, they protesting. They're benefiting off something that my parent and my grandparents fought for. But here we are. Now look what happened. All of a sudden, all this goes away. And the millennials and Gen Z, they were nowhere around. So the story to them, it's like, okay, fine. I mean, that was your plight. What now? Look, how did that affect me? What did that come into my life at? I'm saying that to say that that's that gap again that we're talking about. That's that gap. It needs to be bridged. And a lot of things we don't talk about in the homes. We don't talk a lot about nothing anymore. We do a lot of trash talking. And then we got these role models. They all celebrities. They all millionaires, rich, and they get on the TV and they try to tell us what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to go, who to vote for, what type of music to listen to, when you cool, when you not cool. And we live off that. We live and die off Hollywood and celebrities and big gamers that's in sports and all of that. These are our today's role models. But what do they actually believe in? Do they actually believe in a truth? Or do they value that dollar? They value that money. And they value the money so much that you just can't get enough of it. You can't even get enough of it to come back to where you came from to pull people out. You get numb to what they do, and you look down on them as if they're peasants. I ran across a clip. I just want y'all to see something. I showed you a clip about Ali, and that was back in his day. Remember now, he come from the generation of the silent reserve. He come from way back. I'm finna bring it back up to a baby boomer now. This is a baby boomer, and he was asked a question, and this was his answer to the question.
I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, "Yeah, they're little yummies." I said, "Who?" He said, "Little yummies." Look up, Google Little Yummy. Little Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer. And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old who's doing life now, a 16-year-old.
Makes no sense.
He blamed the system. Where was his father? It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
Like I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, 15 to 25, one did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life. Even though my parents were together, but I still had a father who was a gentle man and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7.
Yeah.
We were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they were doing. And the system got them. So I don't. The system is rigged, but why? All the more reason not to help them.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people familiar with that face right there. That's one of the guys from Hollywood. He happened to be maybe a guy that think a little bit more consciously though. That was a good word. That was Denzel. And he was asked that question, and he brought up this young man by the name of Yummy, 11 years old, in Chicago. He was inducted to a game at an early age. Why? Because he didn't have the father in the home. And the mom was, as I checked up on and read, the mom was on that drug I talked to you about. She was on crack. And little Yummy lived in a pretty abusive home. So we don't know what these young people going through or what they've been through, especially from the 80s on up. We don't know what they experienced, what their mother or what their father experienced, but Yummy had a real hard time. So the system, we'll say, did the system fail Yummy? Because Yummy had 35 felony convictions at the age of 11. Think about what I just said. He had 35 felony convictions at the age of 11, in and out of the system, in and out of foster home. His grandmother took him up. Okay, she probably did the best she could, but from what I read, she had 19 people in the house. Now, Yummy in the house with 19 people, that's after he suffered from abuse from his mom and all the other abuse that he went through. So now, Yummy looking for someone to accept him. So Yummy getting inducted into a gang. I don't know which gang it was. I think you know in Chicago you got the gangster disciples and the, what is it? Is it the black disciples? Whichever. I tell you what, Gen Z and the Millennials, you know what I'm talking about. But however, he was caught up in one of these gangs. In initiation, as usual, you have to go out and do one of your, what you call them, ops. You got to go out and do the ops. So young men go out to do the ops. And in the midst of trying to do the ops, a young lady tragically was a victim from Yummy. And Yummy ended up on the run. So Yummy's gang members, his boys, say, Yummy, we gonna help you out. So they take Yummy in fear that Yummy might, what they call snitch or tell. They go off and they unalive Yummy. That's right. Think about it. 11 years old, inducted into a gang because the home. And Denzel also spoke about the system. But he say, like he said, the system not locking up 7 years old, 7-year-old. But we say the system failed. Well, Ali talked about the system keeps selling you this illusion. Yeah, so Yummy was in a hellhole. No way out. No way out. Is that where we headed? Is that how we doing it? What about the village? The village failed Yummy too. Oh, the village is no more. Because remember, I take care of what's in my house. I mind my own business until it hit my house. And then when it hit my house, I won't law press to the fullest extent. Whatever it is. That's what we do. So we singled out. We singled out. The unity, no more. It's gone. The band is loosed. Yummy, a victim. How many more Yummies we gonna have to lose? How many? How many Yummies do we have to lose before we get it? No, this ain't the way we go. This ain't how it should go. So what I'm saying is, Denzel said that his mom and dad, they sent him in a different direction. You didn't hear him say he was a perfect child. He said he did things too. He said he did enough to be locked up. But however, he was redirected. So I'm gonna say even for the single parents, and I know some single parents they do their best. But the men, I'm calling you. I'm coming at you, homie. What's up? I'm looking for you. Oh yeah, I just shared my story. I dropped the ball on the first two. I figured I dropped the ball, but some kind of way they had structure and they turned out to be good men. But statistic was not against them. The bigger percentage of that, what I just shared with you, those young men don't make it. They don't make it out. Or either they have their fate at the end doesn't turn out so well. What I'm trying to say is we need the village back. We need to refocus. We need to get it together. We fighting everybody else's fight. I was talking with Kay again, and we was talking about the one that came across the border illegally. Like I said, you can come here. This country is made for immigrants. That's what they say. Fine, ain't got no problem with that. But anything you do that's illegal to me sounds illegal. I don't care whether it's civil or federal. It doesn't really matter. Illegal is illegal. So now you over here and you protesting and you want to do all this stuff, and then you want to go out and protest with a whole group, and we don't even have our own group together, but you want to protest with this other group. And she was sharing like, look, check this out. I'm in line, right? And I'm in line. I'm behind some people that's obviously from another country, but they got 2 baskets full of groceries. And then here I am, I'm in line with a calculator trying to figure out what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to put back. So who fight should I be fighting? I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to put back, and they got 2 baskets full of groceries. We talk about, oh yeah, it's this politician, it's that politician. I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. Da-da-dee, da-da-da. Well, according to what Ali said, we've been getting these promises for the longest. Who do you depend on most? Do you depend on the government to take care of you, or do you depend on the Most High to direct you on how to take care of your home, how to take care of your community, and how to love on people? Well, where are we? Come on, holler back at me. I'm looking for your comments. I guarantee you, if you comment, I'm going to check it out and I'm going to respond. I'm not looking for the best comments. Everybody don't agree, and that's all right. That's the world we need to be in anyway. We don't have to agree on everything, but that's how we grow. That's how we become people. We get challenged by things. You get challenged. Like the guy challenged me about money is time. He said, no, Doc. You can lose money and get it back, but you can't get that time back. That made sense, so I got to change my thinking. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. I'm not too high for that. Yeah, I take that in, I soak it in, I keep it. I want to pass it on to you. You need to know. You need to see this. All these cliches, leave them alone. Leave it alone. And to the men, we need to find our way. The women watching us, so if we not show them anything, then what do we have to go off? Oh, I ain't talking about LeBron James. LeBron James doing his own thing. Billionaire, man. LeBron James living in a gated community. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about your community. Remember, the ghetto, one step away from going to the gas chamber. That's what I'm talking about. The ghetto, bro. One step from going away to the gas chamber. Don't go to the gas chamber. Find your way out of the ghetto. Ali said something else. He said it's a mindset. This is the mindset. He said, I'm going to show you. He said, you can take the people from the ghetto and you can put them in Beverly Hills. And then you can take the people from Beverly Hills and put them in the ghetto. He said, and the people in the ghetto are turn Beverly Hills into the ghetto, and the people from Beverly Hills are turn the ghetto into Beverly Hills. That sounds like a mindset. Change your mind, change your thinking. Change your thinking. Obviously what we're doing is not working, and they sitting back watching us do it. Blame the system. The system ain't made me shoot nobody. That's from within. That's from within. So we need to deal with it. We need to deal with that. I say it can change. Martin said he saw the white kids and black kids eating together. We doing that today, millennials. It was a time you couldn't do that. We doing it today. Is it a good thing? That's for the person to make their own decision. I heard Charleston White say, look, check this out. This ain't no black and white thing, man. I stick with my kind. That's right. I find my kind, and that's what I roll with. Redbirds hang with redbirds, and bluebirds hang with bluebirds. That's what Charleston White said. Made a lot of sense to me. So I'm like, okay, bro, I hear you. I feel you too. So find your kind. But I'm talking to the community now. Since we're dealing with this identity thing, you know, and dealing with critical race theories and all of that, and all this DEI, and they throw all this stuff on you, and at the same time, up behind the scenes, it's going down, and you ain't involved with this critical race theory or DEI. You're not involved. So if you don't get on this bandwagon, tune in to the Most High. Some people say, well, I'm one with the universe. Okay, well, who created the universe? Well, the universe, was it the Big Bang Theory? So that's evolution. If that's the case, that means you believe in evolution. That means you one time, your folks was a monkey. Yeah, I heard the guy say, yeah, well, the little boy ran to his mom and said, Mama, well, Dad said that we came from apes. That's what we derived from apes. And know what the mama said? The mama said, well, yeah, well, the daddy was telling you about his side of the family. But when I told you that we was created, I was telling you about my side of the family. Take that. Here we go again. That's a mindset. That's what it sounds like to me. Dad believe in evolution. Mom believe in creation. Which way you want to go? Which way do you want to go? I'm one with the universe. Okay, be one with the universe. What is the universe telling you? Because the law of the universe, nature and everything works in harmony. The sun rises when it's supposed to rise. The moon shines when it's supposed to shine. The stars are still set in place. The trees, they bloom when they're supposed to bloom. And when they shed their leaves, when they're supposed to shed their leaves, the seasons come and go. Oh, well, the earth is warming up. Okay, fine and dandy. They've been saying that since I was a kid. How much have the earth warmed up? Come on now. We done had ice age and all that. Don't believe the hype. That's what Flavor Flav said. Don't believe the hype. Yeah. You remember him? Public Enemy? Yeah, they used to roll. They had a message in the music. Now the message is, oh man, kill that. Kill that. Yeah, I roll. I got it. Yeah, bank, all of this. What about that B over there? Shaking, popping. Oh, come on, man. Wake up. And then you can't blame the system. You can't blame that on the system because you're being bombarded with propaganda and perceptions, which turns out most of the time being deception. Come together. That's what this is all about. How you gonna have a world of unity? Division. That's what it. Divide, conquer. I don't care what race you are. Divide, conquer. That's what it's all about. Find your kind. Find your kind. Yes. Yes. The children of Israel, it was time that they let the strangers in. They called it the strangers. We'll deal with that on down the line. But the strangers was allowed to come in. But they was allowed to come in with they had some things they had to do. That means they had to transform. Their mind had to be renewed. Their thinking had to be renewed. They had to get on channel with what the Israelites were doing. And then they were welcome in the community. Find your kind, man. We got to do this and we got to do it right. That's all I'm saying. And once again, this is not preaching at you. This is just trying to give you an outlet. We want to do it. Don't let the great illusion get you, because the great illusion is real and it's a hellhole. And if we don't do it right, there's Yummy. Man, I'm out of here. What the flux?